Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for giving me the opportunity to open this event. First, let me congratulate EUROPEN on its 20th anniversary, un très bon anniversaire. From the outset, EUROPEN has had a prominent role in helping shape the operation and further development of the European Union Packaging and Packaging Waste Directive. I highly appreciate EUROPEN's efforts to bring together and motivate the entire packaging supply chain and help it to continuously improve its performance, to deliver better packaging solutions, and to minimize its environmental footprint across the whole life cycle of packaging. Over recent decades, much has been achieved in this respect, but as always, challenges persist and new opportunities are waiting to be seized. Within one generation, we will share the planet with 9 billion people. By 2030, 3 billion people will have moved out of poverty to middle-class consumer lifestyles. This global economic advancement is great news, but it will have a direct effect on the global extraction of resources, which is expected to increase by 75% in the next 25 years. Already today, growing global demand is putting pressure on resources, such as materials, land and energy. Their prices are rising fast, supplies are less certain, and competition for resources between companies and between countries is growing. For Europe, a continent relatively poor in energy and materials, closing our eyes to these trends will have major negative economic and environmental consequences. We have no choice but to address them. This is why the Commission has placed the efficient use of natural resources at the center of its growth strategy. Our long-term objective is to move away from today's linear economy, where we mine, manufacture, use and throw away, towards a circular economy, where waste is pumped back into the production cycle again as raw materials. The relationship of good waste management to the circular economy will be my central theme for next year. We will be creating a big debate on those subjects through our Let's Clean Up Europe Day on the 10th of May and in our annual Green Week in June. And the debate will be based around the review of our waste policy and targets. The 7th Environment Action Programme, agreed by Member States and the European Parliament in June, sets out a number of concrete waste-related proposals and objectives to be achieved by 2020. To reduce the amount of waste generated, to maximize recycling and reuse, to limit incineration to non-recyclable materials, and to dramatically reduce landfilling. These objectives will guide our work as we review European Union waste policy and targets next year, including those in the Packaging and Packaging Waste Directive. That directive will also be one of the 5 mature waste streams directives that we will look at in a regulatory fitness check to see if they remain fit for the purpose. But let me briefly turn to the role that packaging and packaging supply chain plays and can play in this context. It is clear that modern economies need packaging, and indeed it is clear that packaging can have a direct positive effect on resource efficiency. For instance, by preventing the loss of food on the way to shops, on the shelves, and on the way to our kitchens. In terms of waste prevention, the past 10 years have seen a decoupling of the amount of packaging waste and economic growth, even though we could say this is a relative decoupling, as the total amount of packaging waste arising is still on the increase. But once that packaging material becomes waste, it is increasingly being channeled back into the economy, either through the reuse, recycling or recovery. In this respect, the trends observed in the European Union over the past decade are truly encouraging. On the other hand, I hope you agree with me that we still face a number of challenges. We must recycle more household packaging. We must make extended producer responsibility schemes more cost-effective and transparent. We must reduce the littering caused by packaging waste, including plastic bags. We must ensure the implementation and enforcement of the essential requirements contained in the Packaging Directive. And we must improve the comparability of data and statistics across the European Union member states. We will be tackling these challenges in the review of European Union waste policy, building them into a logical and coherent approach to boosting Europe's resource efficiency. I hope I can count on EUROPEN's continued active support in this process. I wish you a very inspiring and enjoyable celebration event. Thank you for your attention.